had a really good turnout of the 2024 Book Boyfriend PowerPoint review, so I figured I would give you what you're asking for. Another PowerPoint. Here is Joyful Book Lovers 2024 Reading Wrapped. Basically, there will be two main categories of romance and fantasy, and then within those we will break them down a little bit more. For romance, we have favorite rom-com, favorite YA romance, YA meaning young adult, favorite adult romance, favorite mafia romance, favorite dark romance, and favorite sports romance. For the fantasy category, we have favorite high fantasy, favorite adult romantasy, favorite new adult romantasy, favorite young adult romantasy, favorite romantasy, favorite overall romantasy, and favorite fantasy. And then finally, for 2024, we have favorite series. The criteria for this was that I had to have had read most of the series and or finished the series. Favorite indie book. Indie meaning independently published books. Favorite author. My favorite surprise of a book. The criteria for this could be anything. Anything that surprised me in a book. And of course, my honorable mentions and our favorite book of the year. We will start out with romance. The first category up is favorite rom-com. This category describes books that are romantic comedies. There are 8 books in this category, and of those I nominated 3. And of those, here are my top 3. Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. Beach Read by Emily Henry. And Not in My Book by Katie Holt. And my favorite rom-com for 2024 is Beach Read by Emily Henry. The next category is Best Mafia Romance. The books in this category are of the subgenre Mafia Romance. There were 6 books in this subgenre, and my nominees are Savage Lover by Sophie Lark, Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark, and Heavy Crown by Sophie Lark. And my favorite Mafia Romance for 2024 is Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. My next category up is Best YA Romance. The books in this category are aimed towards young adults and do not have adult content. There are only 4 books in this category, and here are my top 3. You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thao. We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. My favorite 2024 YA romance is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thao. Next category is my favorite dark romance for 2024. Books in this category had heavy adult content. There were 4 books in this category, and here are my top 3. Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. Credence by Penelope Douglas. My 2024 favorite dark romance is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. The next category is favorite sports romance. Books in this category have a mixture of sports themes and romance. There are 8 books in this category, and here are my top 3. Lucky Charm by Anne-Marie Meyer. Delighted by Lauren Asher. And Redeemed by Lauren Asher. And my 2024 favorite sports romance is Redeemed by Lauren Asher. And now what you've all been waiting for, my favorite overall romance. There were 31 romance books in this category. Here are my top 3. Beach Read by Emily Henry. Redeemed by Lauren Asher. And Say You Swear by Meagan Brandy. And my 2024 best romance goes to Beach Read by Emily Henry. So that rounds out my romance section. Those are things without fantasy whatsoever. So now we will move on to the fantasy categories. Next up is favorite adult romantasy. This is romantic fantasy stories that have adult content. There were 7 books in this category. Here are my top 3. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Bride by Ali Hazlewood. Fate of the Sun King by Nisha J. Tuli. And my 2024 best adult romantasy is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. The next category is my favorite romantasy for new adults. This category is for late teens, early adulthood, and some adult content. There were 4 books in this category. Here are my top 4. Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tuli. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. And my favorite 2024 new adult romance is Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tuli. Next category is Best YA Romantasy. Books are geared towards young adults and don't have adult content. There were 18 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Lightlark by Aster. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Finale by Stephanie Garber. And my favorite 2024 YA romantasy is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. The next category is Favorite High Fantasy. The books in this fantasy category have intricate magic systems and or world building. There were 5 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. And When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. And my favorite 2024 high fantasy book goes to Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. The next category is Favorite Fantasy. The books in this category have little to no romance and focus on fantasy. There are 4 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Ruination by Anthony Reynolds. The Night Ends with Fire by KX Saw. And my 2024 favorite fantasy is The Night Ends with Fire by KX Saw. For the moment that you've been waiting for, my favorite overall romantasy book. There are 25 in this category. Here are my top 3. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Nightbane by Aster. And Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And my 2024 favorite romantasy is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Next category is Favorite Series. The books in this category I have read the whole series or all that have been released. There were 11 different series in this category. Here are my top 3. The Dirty Heir series by Lauren Asher. The Carval series by Stephanie Garber. The Artifacts of Arano series by Nisha J. Tuli. And my 2024 favorite series is The Dirty Heir series by Lauren Asher. And the next category is Favorite Indie Book. The books in this category have been independently published by authors. There were 10 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Forgotten Flare by Kelsey Lean. The Black Crow Flies by L.P. Purdan. And Love Within Reason by Everilda Ocampo. Favorite 2024 indie book is Forgotten Flare by Kelsey Lean. Beyond this point, there are possible spoilers. I'm not responsible for ruining your possible reading experience beyond this point. And the next category is Favorite Surprise in a Book. This category is for any book that surprised me in any way. There are 6 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Broken Vow by Sophie Lark. The surprise was that I liked the book. Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. My God, The Spice. And Say You Swear for the Accident. And my 2024 favorite surprise is Say You Swear with the Accident. Next category is Favorite Author for 2024. The books in this category, I had to have read more than one book and it had to have been rated 5 stars or more. There are 43 authors in this category. Here are my top 3. Stephanie Garber, author of the Carval series. Lauren Asher, author of the Dirty Heir series. And Alex Aster, author of Lightlark series. And my 2024 favorite author is Lauren Asher. Here are my honorable mentions. Books here all get a mention because I didn't have a category for them at all. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, my favorite nonfiction book. It is the only one in this category. Lunar New Year Love Story. Also, the only one in the graphic novel category. I did enjoy it. Verity by Colleen Hoover. The only suspense that I read this year. And now for the moment that everyone's been waiting for, my 2024 favorite book of the year. There were so many good books this year, it was so hard to choose. Here are my top 3. Beach Read by Emily Henry. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And Say You Swear by Meagan Brandy. 2024 favorite book of the year is Say You Swear by Meagan Brandy. And with the good, we also have some bad. This is 2024 worst book. There are 5 books in this category. Here are my top 3. Book of the Cursed by Raven Stevens. Sanctuary of Shadows by Aurora Asher. And Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. And the worst book of 2024 for me was Book of the Curse by Raven Stevens. Disclaimer, these books I didn't like based on my own opinion. This category is just for funsies to show you it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And there you have it. That is my 2024 reading wrapped. I read a lot of amazing books this year. It was so hard to choose a lot of these books. I'm so happy about the progress that I made this year. This was also the first year that I had almost successfully tracked every book that I read, so that in itself was an accomplishment. Thank you guys for following along and checking out what I thought was my 2024 best and worst.